listen up, y'all. It's the queen of automation, Meghan Donnelly, here to give you inspiration. Founders and business owners gather round. I'ma show you how to build systems that'll astound. Streamline your processes, no need.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Queen of Automation podcast, where we talk about why technology is only good when it works and how I help you make it work. I'm your host, Meghan Donnelly. Today we are getting geeky and techie with Lisa Williams. Say hi, Lisa. The owner and founder of the Toke Agency, an agency leading the charge in helping medicinal and recreational cannabis grow revenue and keep their current customers happy. Did I say that right?
You did.
All right. Well, I'm so glad that you're here. So Lisa is another one of my networking buddies, friends, cohorts, if you will, that is in the brand build community. And we are loving it and having a good time. So I'm super excited to be talking with you because this is actually something that is very near and dear to my heart. The industry you're working in. I have 2 kids on the spectrum, one with really high anxiety, and I think about this a little bit differently than I think a lot of people do, because I really don't want to go the route of narcotics, for such young kids. And we'll jump into that in a minute. First, I want to hear where you're tuning in from and talk a little bit about yourself and what got you into this industry. Because I know you have just a kind of regular agency background. What made you transform and pivot into the medicinal?
Yeah. So I'm calling in from Texas. So I'm going to say y'all probably way too many times.
Yes. My mom was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. So there's a lot of y'all going here too.
Yay. And it's already getting hot here, so yeah, we got to bear with the heat. But, okay. So let me back up. I did run a digital marketing agency that was outside of the cannabis world for the last 5 years. And somewhere in that mix, we had an opportunity through a partnership to start working with a cannabis dispensary, running their social media and what we call communications, which is their text and email communications through different platforms that serve mainly for the cannabis industry. And last year, my team and I just kind of had some brainstorming sessions because I felt like, and I'm getting ready to write an article about this, Meghan, we had moving sidewalks going every direction. And I was brainstorming, let's do this and let's come up with this. And we weren't just keeping on that one sidewalk and staying focused. And we decided to go all in on cannabis and build out a new brand called the Toke Agency. But in our heads, we kept thinking, we're going to build the Toke Agency and we're going to run our other marketing agency. And in January, we were like, it's too much. No way. We need one moving sidewalk and it needs to propel us in a forward motion. So literally since January, and it's June right now, we have just, been all in on cannabis marketing. I've immersed myself in the cannabis industry. So even back when we were working 2 years ago with cannabis brands, I just kept saying, they're my outliers. They're my outliers. Like it wasn't even one of the industries that we were going after or looking to even grow in. Yeah. And, when we started diving into our revenue and our numbers and projections and everything, we're like, this really makes sense. And it's a booming industry. We're women owned and operated. We love what we do. And we want to bring it to the community and grow with dispensaries.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think it's such I don't even know what the right word is, but there's not enough people talking about it in the right way. I mean, there's there's the controversy around the cannabis industry. So it's, first of all, let me back up, because if you haven't seen her agency, she's going to tell you how to find her here in a little bit, but you got to go check her agency out. It's the coolest branding. It is so fun. It's like a pun on words every single page, and it makes you laugh, and it is light and airy, and it makes you really feel comfortable about talking about the topic, because there's so many people that are still uncomfortable about it. And I think that your agency is doing such a great job of making it not uncomfortable and making it for the people, for everyone. Like this should be for everyone when it's done the right way, when it's done, and it's just been really cool to read and check out your content. So one of the things that I always talk about with all my guests, and I know you've heard me talk about this, everyone has heard me talk about this. I talk about it all over the place, but I would love to hear your take on work-life balance, right? Because I don't believe in work-life balance. It's all life. When you're working, it's life. When you're not working, it's life. And so I would love to hear what do you feel about that topic? And if there's anything significant, and you just said it, because January, you just switched everything over, that's happened in the last 6 months to a year, like what significant other than that, I guess, outside of what you just mentioned, has happened in the last 6 months to a year that's really made you see like work-life balance differently, or differently than I see it, or the same?
Well, okay. So I love that you say you don't believe in work-life balance. You and I were not in corporate America, right? And so
I was for a long time.
I
Yeah.
was for a long time too. And there was no work-life balance. It was work. And then you had a commute home for me, which was an hour, a commute there and a commute home. And then I had my weekends. And that was literally all I had. And then my 2-week vacation or whatever time off I had.
That you
And
took your laptop on with you because
exactly.
you were afraid to come back to the clusterfuck, excuse my language, on your desk.
Yes.
Yeah.
So being an entrepreneur, I don't believe that there is work-life balance. I am my business and I am part of my life, and it all just, blends and meshes together. There are days that I work 12 hours. There are days I don't work at all. There are weekends that I'm like, I have piled all this shit up so that I could knock it all out on Sunday, because I don't get phone calls and text messages on Sundays, and I'm just shutting everything down, the noise, and I'm going to work. And then there's times where I'm like, hey, I want to go shopping. I want to go hang out with my friends. I want to go have lunch with my son, all these other things that happen as well. And so there is no balance. It's just, I go to bed at night constantly thinking of ways to improve my business. I have notebooks all over the place with, messages to myself and voice notes. And so, and then I'll write personal stuff to myself to remind me I'm enough, and I matter, and I'm beautiful, and so is everybody else, and I'm rich with knowledge and education, and it doesn't have to come from a formal place. And so, and the other part of me is like, why are we so divided in this world? And this kind of goes into this work-life balance, because I think we think it's either one way or another. And it's not. It's there's no way, and there's no right way. And your right way is right for you. My right way is right for me. And it's okay. It's okay. And the reason your right way is right for you is because of your beliefs, your who's impacted you, who's influenced you, your parents, your teachers, your siblings, your spouse, your friends. And that formed your beliefs. And mine is different. And it's okay if you don't agree with me or I don't agree with you. It's okay that your way works for you and it might not work for me. And I think we get in this mindset that we have to argue with people because we don't believe the way they believe.
Yes. I think it's so great to hear you say that, because it's one of the things that people forget. Like, we've been told this is the way to do it. This is how you grow a business. This is how you grow a brand. This is how, there's all the tricks and the hacks and the blueprints and the coaches and the whatever. And it's like, there are no two businesses, there are no two people, there are no two brands that are alike. It's nearly impossible. Can you do the same tasks Sure, but not really, because at the heart of it, it's based on your brand and your business, and you have to do you. Like, I don't even believe in weekends anymore. Would you say, I'm going to throw this out there and see what you think, because one of the things that I love about forging my own path, creating my own brand, owning my own company, being my own boss, is that I work when I want.
Mm-hmm.
My weekend doesn't have to be Saturday and Sunday. It could be Monday and Tuesday. It could be Wednesday and Friday. Like, it doesn't have to be. And I think the word weekend, when you're an entrepreneur, is ridiculous, because maybe, like you said, if you want to work on a Sunday, work on a Sunday. If you want to work on a Friday, work on a Friday. Like, if you don't, you don't, and it's one of those things. Like, this week, I've been completely all over the place because I had 2 graduations. I had a son graduating from 8th grade, and then my senior, he graduates on Sunday. So, and my mom is here. So I have a house full of people, and like, I'm going back and forth with Jada and the rest of my team. And they're like, well, how do you want to work this? I'm like, I don't know, and we have the luxury to do that because we've put in the time and the effort to make it work. And I personally believe, and we'll jump right in, because I personally believe that my technology and the automations and my operations and how we build our operations for our business is key to being able to do that. And I know a lot of people think, well, it's not about the technology. It's not. Your brand is not going to be made or broken by yours. Well, that's not true. It could be broken by your technology if you mess up your operating experience that badly. But yes, fundamentally, at the end of the day, it's the words, right? Your words are the most important part in how you position yourself. But your operations, if you're still doing it, like if you were doing everything that you're doing right now, and I can say this because I know you have a CRM and a few other really awesome tools that I'm going to let you talk about. If you were doing everything that you're doing right now manually, you would be, yeah, exactly. Look at you would be drowning. You wouldn't have a business because you'd be spending so much time managing the business instead of, running the business, which is, people don't understand the difference between that. So I'm just going to explain that quick. Managing the business means all of your low-level admin tasks and all of the things that you repeat on a daily basis, all of the repetitive tasks that you do over and over and over again. Automate those, please, people. Just automate them. Stop working on them. Stop doing the same thing over and over and over again. And it's amazing how once that's done and taken off your plate, you have freed up so much time to do all these other things that actually matter to grow your business and make you more money. So I would love for you to jump in as another agency owner and talk about what you're doing from an operations side that works. Maybe if you don't mind sharing with us, maybe like some of the things that you've tried either in the past that haven't worked, so you quickly pivoted, or even if there's things that you're doing right now that you think could be improved upon, and let's talk about it and see what we come up with.
So to your point, one of the things that we have done over the last 6 to 12 months is implement processes and systems, because we were customizing so many things. Like, we were customizing pricing, we were customizing agreements, we were customizing, workflows, like everything. And so now I would say today, and I'm sure we could improve, but today we have created workflows that are so automated, and we have like a sheet with every link in it of, this is how you do this. This is how you do this. And it works fabulous, especially for me, because I'm like, where is that thing? So now I just know where that thing is because it's one document with all the links. So I will tell you that Monday.com is our mothership, and we could not survive without it. So I have 2 team members that are both women that we all 3 work together on all of our clients. And that's how we communicate with our clients, and that's how we communicate with each other. That's how we build out our sprints. That's how we build out our processes. And then what also works for our clients is we're able to show them where we are in whatever we're working on. So they see real time, okay, this is in progress. This is ready for you to review. This is complete. and it's completely transparent. So they see everything. And then if they have questions, we're like, use the Monday board and just mention us and ask us what you need, and we're going to give it to you. So that we couldn't function without Monday.com. I will tell you that.
Monday.com is great. And for all my listeners out there who know me, so Monday.com for Lisa is the equivalent to what the Digital Unicorns is using Slack and Airtable for. So we have our PM built out in Airtable, and it's connected to Slack, and Slack is just my lifeline. So instead of having a board like you do in Monday.com, they Slack. We have a channel for every client, and then they Slack us their messages or their concerns. But all of their real time progress and what we're working on is all in a Kanban board right inside Airtable, which is awesome. So it's
very similar.
Yeah. So tell me about. I would love to hear more about your SOP process. So like that, I'm such a nerd. I love SOPs. I love the different processes. We use Loom. So we use Loom, and now I'm so excited about Loom AI right now, because now what it does is you create the Loom video, a step by step of whoever creates it. It's a step by step of them doing the thing, and then Loom AI now spits out the SOP document. Yes, huh? And I was like, exactly. Your face is like exactly. I was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen. And I mean, I spent probably 4 hours geeking out with this, because I was like, I want to build a new process. And Kristen, my right-hand person, she's like, what are you doing? Where have you been all day? And I was like, playing with Loom AI. And she goes, will you stop it? We don't need any more processes. We already have, and it was so funny. Like, that's how excited I got. And we use it for, I'd be curious to know, do you also use, or do you create, I guess probably not, but I'm going to ask a question anyway. So because we're building these types of systems for our customers, we also build SOPs for our customers, so that's our training process for them, right? So they know how to use their software. Do you do anything like that from the marketing and branding standpoint? Do you have I'm not really sure. I guess if you're doing social media, but you're doing it for them, right? Like, you're not teaching them how to do it.
Correct. So we are implementing and executing. We're creating the strategy as well as implementing and executing. So we don't create an SOP for them or, walk them through how to do anything. But for our own, internal process, we do use Loom occasionally, but I think we also have a weekly sync up call. But I will tell you what we do on that weekly sync up call. We have a document attached to the Monday board for our weekly sync up call. And that document will have needs information and then discussion or FYI, so that we don't waste any time going over the needs or for your information, or we don't waste any time of anything that's posted of, hey, I saw this link to this article, or by the way, this client went ahead and moved forward with this. It's just like an FYI. And then everything we need to discuss is listed under the discussion. So that is one process that works really well for us, because we don't waste time on anything above the discussion line.
Right. Like talking about stuff that you don't necessarily talk about. You only are moving the fires out of the way, right?
Right. And so then, I could tell you like our workflow from somebody scheduling a call with me, going through the whole process. So we have links that we have scheduled. We use Engage Bay. It's not a really well-known system out in the world, but it works for us. And that is what we use for our marketing automation. So our emails, campaigns, all of that runs through Engage Bay.
Is the website also built in there? So website, email, okay.
No, the website's built on WordPress, but we do have, it linked through Engage Bay for like scheduling a call and stuff. So, we have my calendar built into Engage Bay of my availability. We have the link. They schedule what's called a Toke sesh. And so then and so we get on a call, and then we have a list of questions that we want to ask them on that call. So again, automated. It's already there. All I need to do is duplicate the document, change the name to whoever the client is, and then I'm asking them questions, and then that goes back into the Monday board. And then we have a pitch deck. The pitch deck is our sales deck, our pricing, it's everything. So when I send them the pitch deck, we already have an email that's generated. So it goes with the pitch deck. So that already goes out.
That lives in your Engage platform? Nice.
No, that actually lives in Monday, and I manually do that because sometimes I might want to add a little personal information. So rather than making it so standardized, because it is standardized, like it does say, thanks for your time today, blah, 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 blah. But I also want to say it was great to talk about X or Y, or I love that you brought up, so I want to personalize it a little bit. So that comes from me directly. And then after all of that, we create the Monday boards, we build out their whole entire, their resources. We ask them, this is what we need from you. We send them a document with a checklist, and we create a Google Drive for them, and we ask them to dump everything, but it all has folders. And then we have a kickoff call, our internal kickoff call. Well, I'm sorry, let me back up. We also have a contract or an agreement that we send out. Again, it's completely standardized with an email already generated that I just attach the contract to.
Nice.
So there's just a lot of things that we have done over the last 6 to 12 months to automate things, to your point.
Yeah.
And set it up.
I love Monday.com. So I'm super excited to hear that you're using it. It's funny because it's definitely one of the alternatives to, we use Go High Level. And I'm absolutely in love with Go High Level because everything's all in one place. And I used to be that person that didn't think you should use an all-in-one system because it doesn't do everything 100% perfect, but it does it all 90% of the way. It's like marginally there, 85 to 90% of the way, each of the things that it does. So it's pretty fantastic. But so would you say, I would love to hear about, so you have your WordPress site, right? You said the website is built in WordPress. I'm curious to know, I totally get manually adding in text for the emails, right? Because that's that combination of AI automation and human interaction that I always talk about, right? You don't want to do 100% automation, 100% AI, right? Like you don't want to do that. It dehumanizes your brand for sure. But I'm curious to know how you're passing data. So is the only data that's going back and forth between like the website and the other Engage platform is just the calendaring? Nothing else is like your email or your newsletter? Is that also connected into Engage, or do you have a newsletter? I signed up for it. I'm like, wait, I signed up for that.
It's called the Toke Times.
Yes, I know. I love it. Everything is so great.
So the newsletter is, so if you sign up, obviously you sign up on our website, but then it goes through Engage Bay to deliver. So we schedule, so one of the things that I do, is I create all the newsletters for the following month. So right now it's early June. I'm working on July's newsletters. And then one of my teammates edits them. We make sure that it sounds, on brand, and that, I don't repeat myself, and just getting a second set of eyes on there. And then she goes and schedules them all in Engage Bay. So we send 2 atomic newsletters, atomic meaning short, very brief, to the point. And we send them twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:20.
Of course, because when else would you send them?
Right.
So then you're using Monday.com as your CRM, customer relationship management, right?
We are essentially, because we're a small team and we're very boutique-ish, we don't need this big CRM with, hundreds of different people in there. And, we don't need a Salesforce. We don't need,
no one needs Salesforce. No one.
I mean, we're very boutique-ish. We're very small. So we could use Monday.com as our CRM. And we have a process built out with like initial conversation.
That's what I was going to ask. So you have your pipeline built out for your process.
Yeah. And then sent deck, and then we have the date, and then we have client reviewing, and second second call. Like we have the whole process built out, and we just plug in the dates.
Yeah, so that's the process that I was curious to get to. So you have the process. Is that process being manually moved through the pipeline, or is Engage like when someone responds to your email, or when someone does that kind of behavioral, or like I call it behavioral or transactional, like you send them something that you're expecting a response for, and they engage and respond. Is that information then triggering your flow so you don't have to move those people manually?
I wish I could say that we're that automated, but we're not. So no, that process is me manually going in and updating. And one of the reasons, Meghan, is I am the face of my brand. I am my brand. And so when people get on a phone, when a potential client gets on a phone call, they're talking to me and they're trusting me to give them information, to build that relationship. I bring my team on when I feel it's appropriate. So I want that personalization. Yes, I love automation. As many things as I can automate, the better. But there are things that I want to stay very personalized with. And so when they're responding and I'm responding and we're going back and forth to set up a second call or to ask questions about the deck or whatever, that's me manually moving it down the line.
Right. And I think that sometimes, like, depending on, like you said, and I'll let you get into that, depending on how many customers and how many people you're pushing through, right? It's the personalization that your brand needs, right? It goes back to what we were talking about at the top of the hour. You need to do you. And if it makes you comfortable doing that, and sometimes if you're having one-on-one personal conversations, you can't automate that. So that's actually the point. You led me right down the perfect path, because there is such a thing as over automation. So I was hoping you were going to say that, because your brand and the way that you're managing that is the perfect storm, if you will, because you're using automation where it works for you and it fits into your brand and your lifestyle and your business. And then you're personalizing and not over automating, because you could, right? Like I could sit here and try to sales pitch you all day long and probably convince you that you need to do that. But you know what's going to happen? 6 months to 8 months from now, you're going to be like, well, now I feel like we've over automated and I don't feel as personal. Right. And so there's that fine line of knowing when to have those conversations with people and when not. And you do the same thing, I'm sure, with your clients. Like, there's things to talk about. There's things not to talk about. There's things to automate. There's things not to automate. So I'm really, really glad that you went there, because people need to understand that. And I'm screaming it from the rooftops, because I'm an automation person, right? But you have to do what works for you. And if it doesn't work for your brand, and if you're a people person and your brand is all about engaging with people, then don't automate those things. I have brands, I have people that I work with that don't like people. And if anybody's paid attention to who I've been working with lately, you all know who I'm talking about. And he doesn't like people. He doesn't want to interact with that many people on a regular basis. That's just not his thing. So what do? We automate all of that stuff. And he still talks personally through chat and email and back and forth. He just doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to have a lot of phone conversations. He doesn't want to have all that interaction. It's just not his way or his lifestyle. And that's fine, because that works for him.
Right.
So why don't you jump in and tell us again the agency, where people can find you, how they can find you on LinkedIn, what's the best way to contact you?
So Lisa Williams on LinkedIn. I post pretty much Monday through Friday and hang out there most of the time during the week. I love LinkedIn. It's helped me build so many relationships, inside the cannabis industry and outside the cannabis industry. The Toke Agency, we are on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, X. And it's the Toke Agency. And we post a lot of really fun on brand content through the Toke Agency. And it's a lot of play on words. It's a lot of, you know, let's toke and let's be buds and all of those things.
Yeah,
And
tokeagency.com, and
yeah,
you guys, you have TOKE agency.com. You have to go check it out. It's just the funniest thing. She's done such a great job with, like I said, the puns and the brand language and making it fun, light, and airy. And it's awesome. Even if you're not even if you're on the opposite side of where we are on as far as the
cannabis.
whole cannabis thing, you just need to go check out the brand because it's funny and it's awesome. And
I will say one more thing, Megan. We couldn't do what we do for our customers if we didn't do it for ourselves. So we are an example of how we work with other brands. This is start to finish. The Toke Agency, it was built from start to finish with our team. And so we have to do that for ourselves so that we can do it for our clients. So yeah, the tokeagency.com.
I appreciate you so much. I'm so glad that you jumped on to chat with us.
Thank you.
And that is a wrap, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. We will see you next week. And don't forget that technology is only good when it works.